Thank you. Welcome to Needle and Stitch.
Yay.
I'm so excited to have you here today.
So glad to be here.
Awesome.
I've been hearing all about it, and I need to see the magic for myself.
Yes, you're gonna come for the stitch and stay for the vibes.
Love it.
All right, so today we are making some shirts for you.
Yes, I'm so excited to see him.
All right, let's get started. Welcome to the t-shirt room. This is where the magic happens.
Yay. Well, this is a fancy machine.
Yes, this is our Epson. We've actually given it a name. I'm trying to remember what we name all our machines. It's the funniest thing. But yes, this is our Epson.
Okay.
We've got our pre-treatment machine, which is a Lawson here. It's a silver jet. And we actually used it on your shirts because with this, we have to put glue on the shirts ahead of time.
Okay.
So it could adhere to the black shirt appropriately.
Wow. Okay. Extra step.
Yep, extra step, but it's all good. That way it makes sure it looks really good. So this is your design that you sent over to me, and this is a really good preview of just showing what it's going to look like when we actually print it.
Okay.
And it just provides a really nice guide in terms of placement. What do you think?
That looks so perfect, and I like how it's big enough, but still like gives room around. I think
Awesome.
It gives a good like boost to the. I mean, it's a leopard. It's whatever it is. A scary animal.
I have a hard time figuring out anything with the spots too.
cheetah.
All right, so I already set up some of the configurations to make sure it's bright and it pops because your brand is just so loud and vibrant, but for all the right reasons, what I love. So let's go ahead and get this printed. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do today is actually make sure there's no moisture in the shirt. So I'm gonna dry it out real quick. In our heat press, this thing is pretty hot. So I'm gonna throw it on there and push her down. While that's going, I'm gonna turn this on and get this ready to be printed. And it's really easy. All I gotta do literally is just hit print.
Oh wow. Fancy.
That's all it is. Really not too much to it. So we've got that all nice and hot and ready. I'm gonna throw her on here. And then we're just gonna make sure this helps with centering and making sure it's sitting in the right spot. I think she's ready. We're gonna put it in. And what it's gonna do is print white first as a base, and then we'll put the ink on top.
Okay.
But yeah, you can see we put that down first, and it gets all the little details, which I really like. And then it goes back in, like that. And then now we're gonna dry it. Just gotta be a little careful with our tight space here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me pull out my paper bit. So pull that out. And then we just do it for 30 seconds.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
This would be perfect if like you want like t-shirts for Lucky's birthday or like so many things like
I've done
that.
some graduation shirts recently.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's been good.
Love it.
And especially because it's so fast, like he was saying.
Right.
You're just able to turn it around like that.
It's good to know if we want like random stuff.
Yeah. If you need, we can even print on tote bags.
Okay.
Print on all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
So it's like fresh out the oven.
Wow, that's so fun.
And you can see here.
Look how cute.
Now I will
I'm
say.
so excited.
You can see the lines here, which it's iron.
Yeah,
you know what
totally.
I mean? But typically, you don't want to wear it for like 2 days.
Oh,
you
really?
want to keep
Okay.
curing.
Okay.
But I've done it before.
Okay.
We worn it the same
Okay,
day,
okay.
and it's fine. And in terms of care, you want to make sure you wash this gentle.
Yep.
And don't dry it.
Don't dry it.
Yeah.
Got
or
it.
tumble dry low.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, and that will improve the longevity of this.
Okay,
That's
all right.
how you avoid the cracks and all that.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Woo!
What you think? I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a
Yay.
little bit about SOS.
Okay, perfect.
Why Coke Zero? Why do you love Coke Zero? Why is that your favorite?
You know, it's funny because over the years, like I've tried, you know, I like Coke Zero Cherry, whatever, but I don't know, there's something about the crispness of a specifically Coke Zero with ice. Like, mwah.
I love that. Okay, let's do this. Cheers. So we have Joy here today from SOS, and I'm just so excited to chat with you because, I mean, everything that SOS stands for is such a reflection of you and your family and just your heart and grit that you've put into this amazing brand. So I'm going to let Joy take it away because she has such a profound story and journey, and I'm just honored that she's trusted us to create something to show off her brand today. So Joy, please take it away.
All right. Yay. Do you want me to hold it?
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
So SOS was we say it's kind of a love letter to like the work that we've done for the last 15 years in our community, working with survivors of trafficking, domestic violence, and sexual violence. But it really became very personal to us 12 years ago when my mother-in-law's final words were on a 911 phone call. And you can't go through something like that and not let it change you and change kind of your perspective on the world. And our perspective over the years was, what is being done to prevent violence? How are we keeping women safe? And what easy tools exist to do that? And so, you know, some people carry pepper spray, or like some people have their CCW, like and those are all good things. And if you feel comfortable, it's great. What we saw though is a lot of people don't carry those things because they don't feel safe enough to carry them, that they can actually protect themselves.
Right.
And so, yeah, you know, it came up with this concept of a lipstick that, you know, could either get you out of a bad meeting or save your life, depending on what you need. And so, like, you can push a button and it can send a text, a phone call. It can even priority dispatch authorities. And, you know, we know that most of the time when we go out, we're all covering our drinks, or we should be, because there's a lot of drink spiking that's happening. And so we, you know, develop these test strips that kind of are in these hidden compartments and different, you know, products that we have to make sure that you can use those just to test. 6 seconds, you know, is it changing color? Is it not? It's safe. And really, it's all about this kind of drunk girl bathroom energy. Bringing that vibe into the world, because we think that vibe can change the world. But like, you know, we talked about the t-shirt concept, and kind of one of the very first slogans of SOS was, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And so often, especially as women, we have a hard time saying no. And so for us, it's not even just if it's a yes, if it's a hell yes. That could be the lip color you're wearing, the outfit you feel great in, or that yes to that date or whatever. But we have to listen to our guts and make sure that we trust ourselves and we trust one another to make sure that we're preventing gender-based violence.
I love that. Absolutely love that. I think it's something that I often say, and I try to practice this, is that no is a complete sentence. And I think women, we've made some strides over the years. You know what I mean? But we still got a long way to go. We still
2025. Like, oh my gosh.
No, we still have a long way to go. But thankfully, with products like yours that can allow us to feel safer in a discreet way. And the lipstick is bomb too, by the way. Like, it is really good lipstick. So don't discount that. Well, I mean, not that you have, but don't miss that highlight, because it actually is a really great lipstick. I love the colors. Good. So thank you. So tell me a little bit more about this shirt. What is really, I mean, you talked a little bit about, you know, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Can you tell us more about what it signifies, the imagery and all of that?
Yeah, definitely. So, well, first of all, it's really special because we had a campaign with I Fund Women where we were raising funding to be able to heal our business from a fire. And so one of the prizes, if you will, at the levels was this t-shirt. And so we kind of got feedback from customers that had previously bought stuff and like, what's your favorite, you know, slogan and things, and everyone was like, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And it says that on our lipsticks and everything. And it's really just about empowerment, right? And confidence in your hell yes, and your yes, and confidence in your no, and giving people sometimes we need permission to really give our opinion or to really say what we want to do or don't want to do. And so for this, it's just that reminder that it doesn't even have to be yes or no. It can be a hell yes or hell no, right? Like whatever that is. So even the imagery, like originally when the designer made it, he had it come back and it was like this, you know, cuter, like cougar or whatever. And I'm like, no, we want like claws out, right? Like, it's just like, we're all in, right. We're protecting ourselves. We're protecting each other. And so I was really excited when they came back with, you know, the lightning and like, all, you know, the more intense cat, because ultimately, like, sometimes there are situations where we need to bring the claws out, and we need to bring the claws out for ourselves or for someone that we love. And it's kind of that permission piece.
I love that. Can you tell us what's next for SOS? What can we expect?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I love that we do is we partner with businesses that serve alcohol. That could be a restaurant, it could be a bar. We have a couple of shopping stores that have alcohol. So for us, it's just this idea of, if you're going to serve alcohol, you have a responsibility to keep everyone in your facility safe. And not everyone can stop someone who's going to put something in their drink, but they can carry supplies that if you're feeling that gut feeling, that you can test that drink. So on the horizon is a lot more partnerships. We're working, our goal is to partner with like larger like colleges, casinos, like just the truth is, even in Vegas, right? Like we're known for these things. We're known in Vegas for drink spiking, for trafficking, for domestic violence. Our rates for gender-based violence in Vegas are double to triple what they are in other states.
I didn't know that.
And in fact, probably the worst stat is that since 1993, we've had the highest lethality rates of men taking women's lives. 1993, year over year over year. And so for us, it's any, you've heard me sit with Congress people and like anyone I can to be like, what are we doing to protect our own?
I think what blows me away is that you're out here championing this. Every time we meet, I learn so much about this, and it's shocking because I feel like you're telling so many stories that are being untold. You're giving a voice to individuals who may not have that voice or may not even be here anymore. And so that is why what makes SOS so special and so profound is everything in which it stands for in terms of the empowerment and the access and the safety behind it. So that is incredible, Joy.
It's heavy. But the other piece for us is we're looking at like a foundation side of SOS because we do get a lot of requests of like, can you gift this product to this person or nonprofits and things. And what we know is survivors typically go back to their abusers 7 times. And so one of the things that we did, right, is we created this covert app that just looks like lipstick as well as the product because we know if survivors go back to abusers, they need an out quick. And when we initially were, developing it, it was like, oh, just, push it and it'll call 911. But if they put you on hold at 911, then what? Sometimes a minute to 2 minutes is a matter of life or death, right? And so what's really exciting about SOS is that you can push the button and they automatically have your location, know where you are, and can priority dispatch. Your emergency goes to the top of the list to get to you immediately. Wow. And so for us, that is what we built that part off of what could potentially have saved his mom's life, right? She was on the phone with 911, but that was after there was already a lot of violence on property, her son and stuff. So for us, it was what could have gotten to her sooner.
Right.
How could they have gotten her location? How could they have known there was some issue on property? And whether or not it would have saved her, we just hope it could save the next person's life.
Absolutely. I mean, in those moments, seconds can become life or death. You know what I mean? And even just with your story, in terms of with the fire at your home and just how it saved you and your family. I mean, it's absolutely incredible, just not even just for domestic violence, just in terms of just saving lives that this wonderful, wonderful invention that you've created has done. So thank you so much for everything you've done and continue to do. And I really appreciate it. Okay. So I don't drink Coke usually. I'm a Sprite girl. Oh, okay. I'm like a Sprite girl with ice too. But this is good. It's good. You don't have the guilt with the sugar and everything. So I'm feeling it. Thank you. Cheers. No, it's actually really good.
It's refreshing.
Is there anything else that you're wanting to showcase or highlight about SOS or want to get the word out on?
Well, I think one thing that I didn't expect for SOS is that most of us have worried about our safety. And so I figured if we worry about our safety, then we might want a solution for our safety. What I didn't expect is that most people don't want to talk about the lack of safety. They don't want to talk about solutions because they don't want to feel like they might be next, if you will. And sometimes people have already had experiences that it kind of re-traumatizes them. And so something we say is like, whether it's just to be, get you out of a meeting. And that's funny too, because I had a customer who was like, I gave my staff member as my contact so I could push the button to get me out of a meeting. And I was like, that's brilliant. And, sometimes there's just those things where you just don't want to have conflict. You don't want to say excuse me, right? Yeah. And so so people use it a lot for that kind of stuff. But again, I think it's the idea of fighting an issue as big as gender-based violence is it really is one person, one experience at a time. And I know none of us want to see the pain, especially as women and Black women that have higher rates of violence. But the truth is, it is there. And while I wish we wouldn't have had to create this, I'm grateful we bring a solution, and I'm grateful that we will save our daughters. We will save our friends from having the experiences we had. And hopefully, and we sat down, like, anytime we sit down in groups of women and people share, like, oh, this happened to me, I wasn't sure if that was it. It's so often we blame ourselves. We drank too much, we were wearing this, whatever. And reality is that most of us have had an experience. And knowing that we have products that can help the next person, that's what gets me out of bed every day.
No, I think kind of going back to that conversation where we've had with some other creators here in town, it's sad because it is something that it almost feels regretful, or like you feel that you shouldn't talk about it because maybe you feel shame. That's exactly what it is. You feel shame talking about it, and maybe you were asking for it or it's your fault. And I've even shared with you before where going out in Vegas, hanging out on the strip and everything, I'm pretty sure my drink was spiked. And I'm thankful that I had some level of clarity before I went out to be able to, this was before Uber, that I was able to put myself in a cab and take myself home. But I barely remember that ride home. And I had never been that impaired before. And I slept the majority. I only had like 1 or 2 drinks, barely any. I mean, this was back in my party days. I could hang. This took me out. And so the next day, my father's in law enforcement, and he even asked me, I was staying with him at the time, of all times for this to happen. He's like, are you okay? Did something, what happened last night? Like, you've been asleep all day. Are you all right? And I'm like, I don't know. Last night was just different. I was out with people I knew. You know what I mean? People I've known for years. Some of these people I went to high school with, but something was different that night. And most of the night was glossy and faded, and it was not like I drank too much night. Something was different. And my dad, being in law enforcement, he even said, he goes, I think someone put something in your drink. And I kind of just shoved it away. But it wasn't until a few years later, talking to some other individuals who knew some of the individuals at that situation, they said they went through the same thing, like literally copy paste. It was literally like a mirrored situation of that night. And it's just scary to think, one, individuals have the audacity to think that they can do these things, but what if I wasn't capable of, I mean, I'm sure, unfortunately, I hate to say it, there's probably individuals who did not make it home. You know what I mean? And probably, unfortunately, embarked on things that are probably very difficult to talk about with this individual. Specifically, I found that this individual was actually sued for assault, for some other misconduct as well. And so a lot of those revelations that I had, I was like, so I'm not crazy. These things 100%. Actually, there's it's just way too coincidental. Absolutely. Unfortunately. Absolutely. So even talking about it with you right now, I feel even my own shame, in a sense, like, am I making this up? But these things actually did happen. And what I love about SOS is you attempt to make it, I hate to say fun, but empowering. You know what I mean? It is fun in so many ways, but it's empowering, but it's real. You make individuals feel powerful. I mean, we're going to look good while we're taking care of ourselves at the same time. But even just having these conversations, I think, could be such a catalyst for others to be able to say, unfortunately, they went through that, but then also for our daughters, like you said, to be equipped to have the knowledge to look out for those signs and be ready to, understand I need to cover my drink. Because that night I did not cover my drink. My drink was elsewhere. Someone else was handling my drink that night. Being able to, let me check this before I take a drink from this stranger that gave me something, or even someone I knew.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because 67% of assaults that happen are with people we know. And so that's a very pivotal stat, because we get comfortable. And unfortunately, predators love comfortability, because that's an easy way to make their move. And so that's another thing that we want we want to say is, like, you are empowered to, if you feel something's off, it's off, leave. In the card that comes with, our little drink spiking kit it says, this shit is real, you're not crazy. Because right?
Yeah, seriously.
We always feel like we're the crazy ones because we're made out to be that.
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, we need to trust our gut and we need to keep an eye on each other because we are the ones we've been waiting for. No one's coming for us. So here we are.
No one's coming to save us, but we've got to save ourselves, and we've got to build
Exactly.
this community. You've built such an amazing community with this, and I'm so proud of you. I've watched you from afar for years now. You know what I mean? Build this, and it's so awesome that we were able to connect in real life finally. And you are even everything that you show online, you're all that and even more in real life. So thank you for just doing this and for creating this for all of us and for our future. I appreciate you.
My pleasure, and I love working with badass, strong women to like get the word out. So I'm so glad we're now in community and working together. Super excited.